Hey, and we're back with more East County Sports Report. I'm Ramon Scott. A little bit of a hiatus. I'll have Dave Dickens hopefully joining me in just a couple of moments, but I've brought on from the El Capitan Lady Vaqueros, senior to be, JACEY Danks. JACEY, thanks for doing this. Caught word of your commitment over the last during the pandemic. It didn't take you very long. I want to ask some questions about that and your commitment for your college career. You got one more year with the El Capitan Lady Vaqueros, with that great group that you have, looking to make amends for what happened. I'm going to ask you about that well. But JC, tell me a little bit of a whirlwind of events during this pandemic that we're all sharing. Maybe you've been in touch with Ottawa University of Arizona previously, but it seemed like you kind of had the coaching staff announce that you'd receive an offer, and maybe just a couple of weeks later, you've made your commitment to join the Spirit. Tell me what's been going on for you during this time.
Yeah, totally. So I started talking to Coach Moss a little bit. My assistant coach, Dylan, introduced me to him. I started talking to him a little bit, and he's a really good guy, really good coach. He's got a really good program going on. So we just started talking a little bit, and then he invited me out for a visit. Really beautiful campus, kind of small, but it kind of feels like a place that could be home. Like, it's small. There's enough people there, but I mean, it's amazing campus. It's beautiful. It's been redone. I'm super excited to see where I can go with them in the future. They're a pretty competitive group of girls. I've gotten to know a few of them. I'm super excited to see what's going to happen. But yeah, it's I had to make a decision. What seemed pretty quickly, but when I made it, I felt really good about it. So I'm super happy with the decision that I made.
Yeah, in Ottawa, Arizona, it's in Surprise, Arizona, a little nice community. It's a satellite campus, a Baptist school. People may be familiar with Ottawa University of Kansas. It's just a satellite campus, and this program is going to be entering their fourth season. Coach Moss was just named the officially had the interim tag removed. We're talking about Coach Stephen Moss. He coached the season after a coaching change before this season, and he was named the interim coach. And yeah, they had a pretty competitive season, and maybe one of the factors for you, JC. There's Dave coming in. Thanks, Dave, for doing this, getting JC here. We've just been talking for a few minutes. I'll let you come in just a moment. Let me finish this thought, JC. The Spirit, they'll be in their fourth season, and they're in the GSAC. So we know that's a pretty tough conference. That's the conference that San Diego Christian College is in, and so we're familiar with a lot of their teams and a lot of their opponents. And I'm sure maybe the fact that you come in and get to play a game here, probably at Grossmont College, wherever the games are going to be played for San Diego Christian, but you get to visit and play in front of everybody, gets to come down and see in that one game. So that had to factor in a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. They play at Grossmont College. They're going to be playing San Diego Christian. So I'm excited to actually come back and play at home. I'll be playing in Arizona a little bit, but I'm excited to come back and play at home and be able to have my coaches come and watch me and have my family come and watch me and just be able to be back in my hometown. But yeah, that definitely played into it.
Dave, we've just covered two questions so far. JC telling us about going to Ottawa and then getting to play San Diego Christian here in El Cajon. But Dave, another season for the Lady Vaqueros. They got some unfinished business after what happened. JC, did you even play in that? Did you not play in that playoff game? Did you play in that game?
I did a little bit. That wasn't exactly. My job wasn't exactly as needed as much. I did play in that game though. It was a difficult game.
Don't be modest, JC. You're needed in every game.
Well, I mean, my job was needed, but I wasn't. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say I wasn't good enough at my job yet. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh no.
We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens this year.
We know that it's a role-based team entirely, Dave, what happens. But, I mean, there's no mistaking JC on the court. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's even grown more during the pandemic, Dave. I mean, she's 6'4", averaging 5 points and 5 rebounds a game, and a team loaded with a lot of talent.
And I was fortunate enough, JC, we shared a few quotes a couple of times via text, and I was fortunate to actually catch quite a few of your home games, and I mean, quite impressed. And I'll tell you what, you have in Mackenzie, you have such a huge fan of yourself, and she speaks volumes of your play and how much you've grown since you've joined the team. I mean, and obviously she can spot talent because she's headed to New Mexico. So, but she really speaks very highly of you at your position, and that she couldn't have done it without you. And you were a huge addition to the Vaqueros, and I'm sure you already know some of this because she's pretty outgoing, and she'll tell you whether it's optimism or pessimism at the time on the court. She definitely will let you know and give you, but constructive criticism. She wants you just to be better.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, she'll tell me little bits and pieces of information like that every now and then. But mostly she's just picking on me and trying to make me grow a little bit. She's trying to make me grow as a person, as a player. Good old Mackenzie. Pick at you a little bit to make you better.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I guess you would say, because she's really become a coach within herself, really.
Yeah.
What I saw, and I don't know if you can confirm this, I noticed this last season that Coach Curtis was really letting the veteran players pretty much take ownership of the team, and even the younger players. I mean, you guys were responsible ultimately for your play, for your game plan, and or executing his game plan. Am I correct?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I spent the season before that, I spent some time on the bench, just some time getting to know the girls and watching because I had transferred in. But for sure, between Devin and Jordan and Mackenzie, they pretty much just took and executed Coach's plan. It was between the three of them, they pretty much ran the team. They came up with the plan, Coach confirmed it and made it better, and then they executed it. That was pretty much it.
No, I have to ask you, and I'm sure Ramon already probably touched on this. How did it feel to be an underclassman and having some of these universities, and instead of just a standard junior college, seeking you and your expertise at the position that you play? I mean, that had to feel really, really great as far as you're concerned, and to be recognized. Because that was your first year with El Capitan, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're well, yeah, it would be my second year, but I barely played my first year. I spent most of my time sitting the bench, and I didn't get to play until pretty much season, but even then I only played a few games during the season. So this past year was the year that I actually played all the way through. So yeah, no, but it felt really good. I had a few schools looking at me. I was talking at a few schools, but when Ottawa gave me that offer, it felt really good. I was super excited. I couldn't wait to get going. As a matter of fact, my parents had to pull me back just a little bit.
Yeah, well,
I wanted to commit so soon. I got so excited.
With Mackenzie making her decision also, JC, and like I said, I mean, we know that things are looking up. Things are looking up in the world. We're kind of moving back to normal. We're concerned about everyone still moving forward. We don't know what our timetables are, but
Ramon,
we all have.
Ramon, can I interject just
David.
real quick? I hate to interrupt. While you're continuing with her, I'm gonna go try and find the Nate boys and
okay,
try and get them in while you're continuing. And no offense, Jace, I want to make sure that I get the boys in here too, though.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Dave, and I can handle that. I mean, I got some stuff here to talk to JC about, especially when Mackenzie made her decision in this in the pandemic, and I don't know, we kind of what's going on with our lives, what's our future? I mean, look, you have a big bright future, and I don't really know about my future just because of the pandemic, right? We don't know. You don't know. I don't know. So how much of that goes into it, a young person making such an important decision in this time?
Yeah, no, I mean, pretty much all of it. That was pretty much it. I mean, I talked to Mackenzie a little bit about like making a decision, and she kind of came back at me with like hey, we don't know what's going to happen right now. Like I didn't know what my future was going to hold. I didn't know what was going to happen in this pandemic. I didn't know if everything was going to be shut down. There was even a little bit of fear that I might not have a senior season. But thank you that it's actually opening back up. But no, Kenzie said, hey, we might not get much of a summer. So I committed knowing that I might not get to see much more school. So you should probably do the same. And she kind of just gave me a shove in the right direction. I was like, hey, you're totally right. I get it.
Yeah, look, people my age that are, your parents, around the parents' age, we can't offer much advice. I mean, nobody's really ever experienced this. So, moving forward, we just hope and pray and, hope that we can get back on the court. So what do you do, to keep going now that you're a college-bound athlete as well? I mean, is it a shoot in your driveway type of situation? Do you just have workout equipment at home? What do you do? Someone of your age that wants to be a college athlete in just a year from now, a year and a half, really.
Yeah. No, No, I go to a personal trainer. I mean, 3 times a week. That's a lot of it. And then I just workouts in my garage, in my driveway, pretty much every day. I shoot 100 or so shots in my driveway every day. I mean, I'm just waiting for something to open back up, a gym, something. But yeah, it's mostly the driveway and the garage and the trainer when I can.
Yeah, and good thing that you guys will have such a cohesive team returning. I mean, it's going to benefit this team, but you're going to be put, obviously, as a team, you're going to be put in such high expectations, and deservedly so. No problem in doing so, right? I mean,
Nope.
Basically it's championship or bust next year. I mean, it's going to be a senior year, and you're all together. It was unfortunate how Jordan's career, ended, but now she's got hope again too. She's planning on continuing her college career. So for you guys, though, it's just got to be the motivation. I mean, knowing that you're all pretty much going to be together and really achieve great success. I'm not making light of that Del Norte game at all. I know you guys are probably steaming about that result, but despite how it ended and what might have been or what should have been, you guys probably feel like you guys should have done the job a little more firmly and not been in a situation where you were relying on a call or a non-call or whatever, especially when during the regular season you had that great win streak, Mount Miguel, Lincoln, Grossmont, Helix twice, West Hills, played other tough opponents in there too, Christian, Foothills Christian. So that's the motivation, right? I mean, it's gonna, got the gang back.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't wait to see what happens. We're hoping that Dylan's going to keep the schedule the same throughout the first part of the year. If we get playing non-conference, we're hoping the schedule's going to be the same. We're going to get to see Lincoln again. We're going to get to see Imperial, and we're going to get to see Vista. And we're going to get to see Foothills Christian. And then, when it comes down, Mountain Miguel, Grossmont, West Hills, and Helix. And then hopefully we can get back around to Del Norte. And hopefully we can get even Pura Mesa. Like there's a couple of those games in there where it was like we should have put it to them a little bit better. Like there's a couple of games where we relied on a call that we shouldn't have relied on. Or there was a free throw, or there was one possession that we messed up that we know we shouldn't have. And it's gut-wrenching sometimes to think about. But like you said, this year it's championship or bust. Like Mackenzie's not giving up, Lettuce giving up on it. As a team, we're not going to give up on it. It's a league championship and a CIF title we're chasing, and no one's going to stop us.
No, take me back to that night of the Mount Miguel game. You know, as good as they have been, as great as their program is, I would say that. And when I talked about the game, I said, "Well, this is certainly a great shot for El Capitan to end that streak that they have." And you'd think, I don't. Now that you don't. When you win a big game, usually you go in, come off the game with a big rush, and you might pack it in, but that led to that big win, that little important winning streak, coming back and beating Lincoln and then getting those league wins. So just tell me about that special night, beating Mount Miguel, beating them soundly. It was a close game, very good game, 63-52. Tell me about that night. And I don't know, had to be the win of the year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was the highlight of the year. I mean, when I couldn't believe it. Like, it was insane. Like, I looked around me and we didn't know what to do. We were just going and going and going. I don't think anybody looked at the scoreboard. Mackenzie we just kept pushing each other. She was pushing us and we were pushing each other and we were trying to go. Like, we knew Mount Miguel had it in them if they wanted to stop us. But we wouldn't let them. And when that buzzer went off, it was probably the greatest feeling in the world. It was insane. As soon as that clock hit 0, we didn't know what to do. Everybody just started screaming and jumping up and down. And then we went to dinner afterwards, a couple of us, and we didn't know what to do. I mean, it was all we could do, from not crying tears of joy. Like, it was insane. Not everybody understood how amazing it was, because the last time El Cap beat Mount Miguel was like 1999. But it was the greatest feeling in the world, and nobody let us forget that. And I don't think we're going to forget it either. That was the highlight of our season.
Yeah.
If nothing else comes down to it, that was probably the best game of my high school career.
Yeah, but now there'll be more chances, and now you have the confidence moving forward. Even though the second game went El Cap's way, it was a little bit more of a defensive game, and Mount Miguel won that one 40-37. So they got their revenge. And if anything, you talk about the highs and lows of a season. Prior to that game, losing to Grossmont in what turned out to be an important game for you guys as far as the one-loss record is concerned, being handed that loss by Grossmont. Was there a look ahead at all? Grossmont's a very, very good program for years now, and certainly a competitive team. Didn't surprise people maybe that they were able to pull off the upset on that night. But you had Mount Miguel on deck. What happened in that little 2-game sequence?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what happened there. I think we might have overlooked Grossmont a little bit. I don't know. I actually don't know what happened there. I think we were getting ready to go, and we were trying to go, but we just weren't working that night. I remember Mackenzie had a little bit of a rough game with the Mount Miguel game, and then even Grossmont, it took a little bit to get going. I don't even know what happened, to be honest. It kind of happened. Those 2 games kind of happened so fast, and then we had West Hills and Helix afterwards. So, but it was a bummer not getting to win those last 2 games from those 2 teams. Those teams will probably always be a rival of my class, if anything else, of our class. But I don't know what happened. I really don't.
And then I'll just pull one more before I hopefully get those guys back. Otherwise, just wrap it up, and maybe I'll start another show if they get them. But JC, you talked about the commitment that you made to the Spirit program in Surprise, Ottawa Spirit, and I'm just wondering, of someone of your size, 6'4". I mean, I would think that if you just have a solid season, I think you could continue to garner some more attention. But just only 2 weeks, and you talked about the contemplation in that. You mentioned other schools. Do you think that there's some other possibilities, or you feel so great about this situation because they were able to make a commitment to you so early? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I was talking to a couple of other schools, but I mean, I made this decision with Ottawa, and I think it would probably really be a good fit. I mean, for me, as a player and as a person, I mean, as a player, I was kind of a late bloomer coming into my talent-wise. But I mean,
that's why you still got that year to go. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
you know,
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll
can-
get some more attention, but I do feel really good about this this school. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, well,
I
you
tried
know,
to find Nate.
tall centers. Oh, go ahead. Dave. Tall centers. I was going to say tall centers are hard to come by, and knowing that the way the coaching works at El Capitan, and the fact that you feel like you're still a developing player, I think there's possibly an opportunity for a lot more opportunity there. And I think that those people know that, especially your team leaders on the court that understand all the aspects of basketball. Go ahead, Dave. Did you want to ask him, JC, more? You want to wrap up this show? I don't mind talking to you for a few more minutes.
Yeah, I don't understand one of the numbers. I just wanted to update you for Nate Hughes. They said it was the wrong number, and then Nate Temple, that number didn't come through correctly either. So I really don't understand it. They gave me the numbers directly, and I copied them and pasted them. So I really don't understand what's going on.
All right, no problem. We love those guys. I mean, hey, I'm sorry to JC. If we have only JC, and I started the show with that Grossmont College football backdrop because I was going to have different athletes, but I changed it to basketball. No problem. We'll catch up with our guys later. I mean, they made some nice additions over there at Grossmont College.
I tried to do my makeshift, and I tried to do my makeshift over here, and it just didn't work out.
What a front runner!
Hey,
yeah.
No, I was just really I was looking forward to, just like with you, Jace, to have some of our young talent stay local and be a part of, not go so far out of the community, be able to stay closer to home, stay closer to family. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with those of the two Nates from Santana High School. Pretty big time quarterback, pretty big time receiver, but for them to be able to go to Grossmont College is kind of a big deal.
Well, I mentioned to JC, Dave, that Jordan Grandy, been tough luck through her whole career. I mean, she's gonna hook up with Coach Cares up at Grossmont College, and I think with Coach Cares back on the scene a little bit, hopefully more. I don't know I haven't really looked yet. I've been in quarantine mode, but things can look up there. Things have to look up for that program, and she probably fits right in with what they're doing up there. So we know the opportunities.
Well, it would be definitely, and Jace, you're one of the key components. I think. Grossmont. Even the Grossmont boys program, which is not typical, has been struggling as of late. I don't know if you're aware of that, and it's not something that is typical there. I mean, they have volleyball championships. I mean, you've seen the banners. I mean, Grossmont College is a pretty winning community college. Not to mention, I don't know if you're aware, but they have been held as one of the higher academic community colleges also in the East County and in San Diego County too. And I know you did your research, so I'm sure you know that as well, that they hold themselves pretty high above a lot of the other community colleges. Not to take anything away from them, but it's definitely one of those that's a great place to transfer from. Great coaches, and I don't know what you actually. I wanted to ask you that too. What are you? If Ramona hasn't asked you, what are your plans besides basketball? What are you majoring in?
Yeah, so I was gonna major in a nursing. So I was gonna start with a master's degree in biology, and then I was gonna try to go into nursing or an exercise science. I haven't totally narrowed it down yet, but I was gonna do something in the nursing field of some sort.
We need healthcare workers, man. I'll say we need healthcare workers for sure.
Did sports medicine also catch your eye, possibly, since you're kind of already in there?
Yeah, no, it did for sure. That's kind of why I was taking an exercise science. It would be kind of a cool dream job to be a like a trainer for like the NBA or the WNBA. Like
we
it'd be like a
we all
dream
want
job.
JACEY, we all want jobs that keep us in sports because that's what keeps us young. That's what keeps us excited, seeing generations of athletes come through. Dave, I don't know if you know where JACEY's going over there at Ottawa. It's a relatively new program. It's only been in existence for like 3 years, but it's a thing that it's not going anywhere. They're pretty serious about their sports there right now and building something.
That's why I kind of had to do a little my research. That's why I didn't contact Jace. I saw the Twitter, and I said, oh, okay, I need to do a little more research and see where she's really going into, because all I had seen at the time is the great that you'd done at El Capitan, and up close many times, many photos, which is a little difficult when I'm only 5'8", trying to catch some of your great highlights. But it really has been an absolute pleasure to be able to cover you guys. I've covered a lot of them since they were freshmen, and to watch El Capitan grow up, and even Kylie. I didn't know her too much, but then halfway through the season, I was like, wow, she's a firecracker. She was part of the reason that we got that Mount McGill win. That was huge.
Yeah.
I just think that you landed in probably one of the best girls programs. One of them, just in case Robbie's listening, one of the one of them that is I would say second, if that.
Well,
and
JACEY,
you can learn a lot from Curtis. I know that. As a matter of fact, I enjoy his animation when he's out there. But you know what? I think he's doing it because of the passion that he has for the game. And I think that's what Ramon and myself, and even yourself, we're going stir crazy because we haven't seen it in so long. All it is highlights.
I know.
We're tired of highlights.
Yeah, it sucks. I know.
Maybe that's what we could do, JACEY, just to string it out just a little longer. I'm not saying I guess. Oh, we gave up on those guys. Okay, forget it. We could take our time. But JACEY, how about just shout out to some of these players that you expect, especially the ones that you want to, that are going to be stepping up next year. Emma Driscoll, Shai Perez, Stephanie Yackel. They all going to be there, right? And Kaylee Cole, Dave mentioned.
Yeah. No. Totally. Yeah. Definitely. I can't wait to see what this year is going to offer. I'm
talking. Nate just sent me something.
Okay, great. Yeah, go ahead, JACEY. Tell me about these teammates and who's going to make who's going to make the biggest improvement out of that group. Not that they're all on the rise, kind of like yourself.
Yeah, no, totally. I don't know who's going to make the biggest improvement, to be honest. They're all really, really good basketball players. We've all got some raw potential somewhere. Like Dave said, Kaylee's a firecracker. That she fires everywhere. She's crazy. She's one side of the court one time, and then she's on the side of the court the next. She's just going and going and going. And Shai's defense is awesome. Her leadership's great. She runs the point really well for us. She was able to take it up when we need her the most. So that was awesome. She can shoot when you least expect her to, which is awesome when we need it the most. Steph is just kind of almost like the glue. Steph holds us together. She might not be on the court much, but we love her to death. And when she's on the court, she makes a difference. She's keeps us going. She's kind of like the light underneath us. Emma's going to be really good too. I think Emma's going to make some big improvements. Emma's the kind of player that will work really, really hard to get where she wants to go. She's going to be a shooter. She's going to be a ball handler. She's going to be everywhere this season, I think. She's going to be on the three-point line. She's going to be pulling the ball down the court. I don't know. Emma will go crazy. And, Mackenzie's just going to be everywhere this year. I can't wait.
She's a county player of the year candidate. Let's just say
she's going to be everywhere.
Even though there's some great talent out there, we know.
Shooting from the tundra, she's bringing the ball down the court, breaking our press. She's going to be everywhere this year. I'm just super excited to see what's going to happen. Like I can't wait to see what's going to happen this year. It's
How
gonna
would
be
you like to
awesome.
face? How would you like to face Mount Miguel? And I'll just put it out there just to stir it up. How would you like to have a sweep of Mount Miguel?
Oh, I'm gonna love it. This year's league is going to be competitive. It's going to be insane. It's going to get crazy. I mean, I'm getting all worked up just talking about it. Like the excitement of winning the first time is addicting. You want to do it over and over and over again, and it's devastating when you lose the second time around,
Yeah.
especially by a 3-point shot. But I'm
Oh,
excited. I can't wait to see where it goes.
that game, I felt so privileged to be able to be at that game that you finally defeated the Matadors and on your home court. I mean, the place was absolutely pandemonium. It was just, I mean, I
It
was
was
taking it in.
surreal.
I mean, I'm an Eagle myself, but I was a Vaquero at that point just because it had been so long, and just to see the just taking everything in, Ramon, the looks in their faces. I mean, the blood, sweat, and tears, and just the fans coming onto the court. I mean, you got to admit that probably was something you hadn't seen in your young career, Jace. That something
No.
that beautiful.
No, I mean it was amazing. Like it took everything we had not to start crying. I think Mackenzie did start crying a little bit. I mean, it was insane.
Oh,
The fans on the
called
court,
her out on that.
the people hugging, people high-fiving each other. I think Coach Curtis almost started crying too, to be
Okay,
honest.
that's better. Yeah.
It was crazy.
It
Like
goes
the
around.
just
It,
the looks in their faces, and then just that moment where you can finally breathe again because the buzzer went off.
it
It
go.
was great.
It definitely is catchy because even myself watching you guys play so many times and um, coming up short, even us as reporters sometimes you're like, oh man, don't let it come out. Come on, I've been watching these girls play for a while,
Yeah.
because same thing, we developed that those friendships with, we talk to you guys day in day out, and watch. We're there when you win the big ones, and then we're there when you're holding your heads down, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to go to this next level, Ramon sent me the link, um, and the signing and everything, and that's when I had to do a little research and kind of absorb it, and I was amazed. I mean, just seeing that, I had to look at it again, and I said, you know what? But you work your tail off, and I will tell you that every single one of your teammates was pushing for you all season long. Not just Mackenzie, but even some of the younger players, like I mentioned, Kylie again, was really happy for you. And then, of course, Jordan. I mean, that had to be a really hard time for her. Can you imagine if Jordan would have played the whole season?
Dude, if Jordan had played the whole season, we probably wouldn't have won we probably wouldn't have lost those little games. Like Jordan would have been, a clutch for us. She would have had a great senior season. Just the fire that she has in her, and just the kind of player that she is. Between her and Mackenzie, the Terror Twins, I would have loved to see them play like one more time. Like it sucked. It ripped us all apart when Jordan told us that she couldn't play anymore. Like I think we
I
all cried together at one point.
I love, and you know what? I love that they kept the. I adopted the name for them. I called them the Terror Twins from day
Twins.
one, and I'm glad that
That's
they stuck
that's
with
what they
it.
were. That's what
And
they
then
were. Even
and
in
then
practice.
as soon as one of them went down, it was definitely a crushing blow. But you guys were able to regroup. You had some new blood, um, and everybody stepped up. You guys did really well. You could see the heart and soul that you guys put into every game, especially those home games. I mean, those home games were something special. I'm sure you felt I mean, it's just a whole different El Capitan basketball at home is is huge,
It's a whole different
and the vibe that you get. I mean, are you going to miss it once you do leave El Capitan and move on to bigger and better things?
Yeah, I mean, I am just playing a home game. This being on a home court with the people you trust the most, knowing that somebody behind you will pick you up. Yeah, I'm gonna miss it. It's this. I really only got to play for 2.5 years with them, maybe 3. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss the blood, sweat, and tears that ended up on that floor. I'm gonna miss the injuries as much as I'm going to miss the wins. I'm going to miss the tears. I'm going to miss the coach almost breaking a hole in the wall.
Well, one of the most emotional moments is still going to come when each and every athlete that's still to compete next season walks into a gym and he starts to bounce the ball a little bit and just get some shots in. I mean, that's really what we're just waiting for. That's going to be a great relief to everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
JACEY, did you go to the downtown Lakeside Parade to watch the seniors?
I did not get to go, no. But I heard it was awesome. I saw the parade online. I saw some videos of it. It looked amazing. I'm kind of bummed out that I missed it, but I knew a lot of seniors at that school, and I'm pretty proud of each and every one of them.
Yeah. I mean, let's hope that we don't have another virtual graduation next year.
Seriously, that would suck.
That is not going to happen. We're not going to let it happen.
No, thank you.
But let's just make no mistake that the class of 2020 will always be something special because of this situation. And despite JACEY next year with all your 2021 and beyond grads, let's shout out, Dave. I want to mention any senior watching this. Congratulations on being, the class of 2020, a class unlike any other in the history of school. I promise you that. Yeah. It's guaranteed in my lifetime and beyond. And congratulations, and I'm just so thankful that everyone was able to graduate somehow, some way, get that diploma.
Absolutely, and I mean, and hats off to the coaching staff that all the great things they were able to do, starting with Coach Curtis, and then we all know Coach Ron Berner is one heck of a football coach, and I mean, I don't think there's a person alive that doesn't know of Coach Berner. And then you know what? Hats off to the newest coach for the boys coach for boys basketball. He came over from West Hills, and he did a heck of a job. Took him to the playoffs, and
Coach Elias Toda.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did pretty good. I mean, I was honestly the first couple of games I watched, it was a little rough, but I mean, then me and Mackenzie went to a few games and they started winning. They started picking it up and they started looking really good.
I really enjoyed that playoff game, even though they lost. I thought they played great.
Ramon and I
they looked good.
We were at that game, and just to see the stands full and just the energy.
Looks like a dream now.
Right before the pandemic. We didn't know that, but I tell you what, we enjoyed every moment of it. And the first person that comes to mind, and I know you know him. I'm sure Jace is Spitzner. I mean he is just one heck of a ball player.
You ever played on the court with Jake? JACEY, you ever block one of his shots?
I did not get to play with Jake. No, I've seen him play. I know he's pretty good. I've seen him and Mackenzie go at it a couple of times in shooting contests. But I never got to step on the court with him. But I talked to him a little bit. I got to see him play as a player. He seemed like a really good guy. I mean, he seemed like a great player. He was probably the heart and soul of that team, though.
Oh,
I mean, he stood up for every one of those guys and had their backs. Like, he was the heart and soul of that team, and that team's probably going to miss him. I hope somebody can fill his shoes. Somebody with fire, for sure.
I think that the great coaching staff and right down to the athletic director, I think El Capitan Athletics are all heading in the right direction. I mean, we saw it this last year. We can't really say, unfortunately, spring sports, which was a very sad thing because I know that softball in particular was going to be a promising season
Oh
once
yeah,
again.
heck
Oh my
yeah! That
goodness!
LCAP team is going to be good. They
Oh
were
Yeah,
already
they
Lord!
off
were.
to a good start.
Yeah, they were. They were crushing it. The
Yeah.
JV team was crushing it. Varsity team was crushing it. They were looking really good. I feel bad for some of those girls. They were and our cross country team and our track team. Kaylee was gonna do her first varsity track meet, and
Wow.
she was bummed. Yeah, she was bummed out. Kaylee was super competitive and she's super athletic. She was gonna be a jumper. And I was super excited to go watch her. Me and Mackenzie both were devastated.
So
But
with that being said, are you going to when you're not playing, are you gonna make sure you come back and catch some of those Lady Vaquero games
of
when you're
course,
I figured you fit the profile. You know you really grew up with these girls, and I think, like I keep mentioning Kylie, I think she's gonna be something special. She may be a little bit smaller, but I tell you what, she is a firecracker.
yeah, she's that kid will go and go. I mean, she was crazy. We She ended up getting hurt pretty good in one of the games. It took her 3 hits to finally get her to stop.
Right.
But
Remember somebody.
that kid's got a fire in her. I mean, she will get down there with me. She will play some defense in the post. She's all over the place. But yeah, for sure. Of course, I was gonna come watch a game. I wouldn't miss a game if I had to. But my sister's gonna start playing with us next year.
How tall is
So
she? How tall is she, Kate? How tall is she?
5'8", 5'9".
Okay. Is she gonna be a tall girl?
I don't
As
think
tall as you, JC? No.
I don't think she's gonna be as tall as me.
Athletic.
But she's strong. She's strong.
Okay.
She's
Great.
athletic, and she's got a little bit of fire in her too, for sure.
So how about
So,
Christian? Do you guys circle that on maybe playing Christian again, possibly? And
I mean, I don't know. I didn't get to play Christian. I didn't get to play Christian, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
maybe they'll put a tournament together and they'll give an invite to El Capitan. That I wouldn't see why not. That
I wouldn't
yeah.
either.
I mean, you
Yeah.
guys could. What do you think, Ramon? That'd be a nice addition to maybe the MLK tournament that they hold every year. I think they would fit in just nicely.
Yeah. Well, I Christian won that game last year. I think that was one of LCAP. That was one of their toughest games defensively. I think that was the most points they allowed, over 70 points in that game. But we know how good Christian is. I mean, they were one of the top teams. You know,
That was at
they
Sweetwater,
finished
right?
up ahead of LCAP, but maybe Christian was a top team. What, Dave?
That was a Sweetwater tournament, correct?
The tournament game? I don't.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
yeah. You were right. You're right. It was a Sweetwater tournament game. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So it
That
actually
was
went
the
back and forth.
74.
You
74 point game.
You guys kept pace, and then
We died out.
Yeah, well, these guys played a tough schedule in the beginning of the season. Remember, they played 3-4 real tough teams back to back, and took L's. Kind of a learning process for them. They were not games where, I mean, they maybe felt they could have won 1 or 2 of those, but they were underdogs in I think at least 3 of them, and maybe all of them actually. And those were tough games, but it set them up. 4 games like that they ended up winning. And like I said, they did lose the game to some other very, very good teams. We talked about the Christian game, the Mount Miguel game, and the playoff game. So that's the big key here. These guys are all back, and it's basically an entire team because, with all due respect to George, she wasn't able to compete. So it's a cohesive group that knows each other to the fullest on the court. I mean, they've set their expectations high, and they only have to prove to themselves how good they are at this point. We know how good they are, and it's up to them to go out and fulfill their dreams of winning. So
overall, Jace, do you know? I mean, I know the coaches know more than I know that they will be discussing football on Friday, CIF, of an exact date. I don't know if that isn't going to include when basketball. I mean, we're a little further down, but do you believe, from what you've heard or that you know of, that basketball is going to be on
Yeah. Yeah.
schedule as
What's the
far
last
as?
correspondence? Were you in a Zoom meeting with the coach, with Coach Curtis and the other teammates to get any info?
I mean, Dylan's gotten most of the info. But what I've heard is that they're gonna try to follow suit with football. So they're gonna see what happens with the football, and then they're gonna try to follow suit with the rules. They're probably gonna be a little bit more flexible by the time our season comes around.
That's
But
good.
by the sound of it, I'm hoping that we are going to get a full season and hopefully some non-conference stuff. We're gonna hope that they work out some of those kinks before it gets around to us. But we're probably going to follow suit with most of those guidelines, assuming that some of it's going to be not that many people in the stands for most part.
Oh, that's the
And
part that you want, though. You
And
want those
I
people in
know.
those stands.
things will be back. Things will be back, JC. I promise. I promise by next
know.
basketball season.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
The pandemic might still be, a thing going because fortunately our healthcare system has done a great job in preparing ourselves to open up a little bit more. I mean, there are still health threats out there, but we got a great healthcare system that's allowing us to get out and start to do things again, and that's kind of easing here right in the middle of summer. Kind of getting back to normal, Dave. Dave, I want to let JC go. If the boys aren't going to come on, we can get them another time. I mean, football season's coming up, and JC's been with us an hour.
But I wanted to. I did want to end one thing, and I don't want to say it's tongue in cheek, but
Hi guys.
I wanted to. I think a great thing too, along with fundraising and everything, and I'm sure that's something already in the work. Hey, fill the stands, get those masks made, get those Vaqueros masks made. I'm sure that's probably already in the works. See, we can fill those stands and have that home. I mean, we don't want the cardboard with popsicle stick people in the that just doesn't work, and filtering the noise in, that just doesn't seem right. I think that I'm not part of the CDC, but I think by then, I think as long as worst case scenario, let's make some nice masks. Maybe we can generate some funds for ASB, and get you guys some better gear, and at the same time protect the people with some nice design masks, right? How about some Vaquero masks?
Yeah, totally, for sure. I mean, experience isn't what it is without the people in the stands.
Absolutely
like that Mount
not.
McGill game and that Grossmont game is not what it would be without those people in the stands. Like as soon as that buzzer goes off and that crowd fills with noise, that's what makes that experience whole, for sure.
100%.
There's no feeling like it when they start cheering as before that buzzer even goes off. Like, you've won that game when that stands goes crazy with 10 seconds left. Or they start counting down and they start yelling. Like, there's nothing like it.
I will never take the fans for granted again. I will never take sports for granted again. So right here with JC.
Me neither.
On June 10th, 2020, Ramon Scott, never take sports for granted. I want to get back on the field myself. I've been on hiatus from playing ball for a couple of years now, some softball, and I owe it to my health and to just the freedom and the glory of getting back on the field. It's an honor to play any sport, whether you have to pay for it or not. So how about that, Dave?
And Jace, before you go, because I didn't really get to see it, let's see the new shirt of what we're going to be sporting. Wow.
The Ottawa University of Arizona Spirit, OUAZ.
Mm-hmm.
The thumbnail is your picture, JC, of you holding the basketball, the YouTube thumbnail, holding the basketball with your uniform on, and she's committed. She's committed to the Spirit, even though she's still growing in a big, tall basketball player. Watch out this year.
You really have grown in it, and from a media standpoint, being able to watch you progress and then to see the end result like that, these are the shows that we really enjoy doing, because you're heading to that next level, and you still have another year to play with your teammates. So I mean, things are looking up for you all together. So I want to say on behalf of myself and Ramon, just and East County Sports, congratulations on all your hard work and how it's paid off for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean,
Yeah, well,
it really does mean a lot. And I really couldn't have done it. I mean, without my family and the coaches and my teammates especially. All the pushing that they've done for me every day, like me not believing in myself, but them pushing me to go. I really couldn't have done it without them. And even with you guys either. I couldn't have done it without you guys either. You guys really made me believe in myself and really shoved it and like, hey, you can do this. Go.
well, wait till this year. Wait till this year. We're gonna have a big year with all of our teams again this year. Thanks, Jace, for being so eloquent and kind of stretching our show here. We've asked you some extra questions, and we'll catch up with our other stars later, Dave. No problem. Shout out to the Nates and the Grossmont College program. I mean, not to mention the two Nates, but there've been some other big names that have announced that they're going to go, because there's some competitiveness going on, Dave. Mesa College has really been hot with some of the local players, and they really want to take on that challenge with Southwestern College again. And Grossmont's going to have, for Nathan Temple and those guys, they're going to have to prove themselves again. And I know they can do it. So, but just take a look, and I'll cover it when we talk to them. But some local big names are joining some of those guys. We already have some established stars at Grossmont College from last year, including Mason Talia is going to be one of the top offensive linemen, the former Eagle and Brave, one of the top offensive linemen in the state, believe it or not.
Of course he was an Eagle. Come on now.
Yeah. And Mason has worked through his own confidence levels, really, and become an elite lineman, a four-year college recruit. And also the former West Hills Wolfpack star Jack Browning has looked awesome with his kicking game on special teams. He is going to be a top kicker. Grossmont's had now a series of good kickers, and Browning is going to stretch out that list. But we know some of the other guys around the team last year. So we'll catch up with the Griffins. No problem with the Nates. They have a permanent invite on this show, Dave.
Right.
Okay?
Well, I just want to say, Jace, once again, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate you coming on, and congratulations on everything that you've done, both academically and on the court. And for Ramon Scott, I'm Dave Dickens, and we thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks,
Thank
JC.
you.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night.